So if you've been watching the news lately, you would think that the world is burning, right? That if you stepped outside your door, that the streets would be on fire. And I get it, right? It's like liberal media, they want to find any negative thing they could attach to Donald Trump to show that he's not doing a good job. Like you can see it with Signalgate, right? The media just kept on talking about it every day, even though no one got hurt. Now, should it have happened? Of course not. You want to make sure that you're keeping sensitive data private, and you don't want things like that getting out. But there was no harm, no foul, no one got hurt. But of course, with the liberal media, they want to make sure they keep talking about it just to show that Donald Trump is doing a poor job. And you can see that right now with the stock market, right? Donald Trump has implemented his tariffs, and of course, the stock market reacted to it in a negative way, right? Everything is crashing, everything is red. And for the media, they understand this, right? They understand that for the everyday American, it's an easy thing to digest, right? You look at the stock market, green means good, red means bad. So when they use that, they can see, all right, they can say, you see what Trump is doing to your stock market, to the 401k, he's tearing everybody's 401k. So that means he's doing a bad job. Even though the stock market is not a reflection of the economy, right? It's an indicator, but it's not a reflection of what's going on in the economy. Because if I go outside, everything is fine, even though the stock market is reacting the way it is. And one person that understands this, he understands that, when it comes to the stock market, right now, stock market likes certainty, right? And right now it has uncertainty when it comes to this whole tariff thing. So they're just reacting to the way it is. And one person that understands it is Kevin O'Leary. And he's having an interview with CNN, and he's going to discuss this and break it down.
Can you defend the tariffs?
I try and focus on the signal, not the noise. Harris is not president. Trump is. And if you don't like him 12 years ago, you don't like him now. And I get it. I completely get it. But that's not the issue. Let's talk about the situation here. Reciprocal tariffs that have been put in place, they're basically ours for some countries. We've got 60 countries on the list. Already, you've heard from Thailand, Cambodia, the EU, and Senator Kenney in Louisiana calling for zero tariffs between Canada and the United States. The whole point is it's a negotiation. And if you can get to zero tariffs, that's the best outcome. That's called free trade. That's 50% of why these tariffs are put on. So I'd argue to you, yeah, I hate volatility. I don't like it when the market corrects, but the market corrects all the time. And it generally goes down 15 to 20%. It's proven over 100 years plus. It's a great buying opportunity, and we just got the jobs numbers. The economy is just fine. Now, maybe you don't like watching sausage being made. Obviously, Trump doesn't care. He's an unusual character that way. A lot of these negotiations are done in private quarters. Trump doesn't care. You saw the first of that with Lewinsky. That's just the way he operates. So I don't care about the noise. I care about the outcome.
And Kevin O'Leary is absolutely correct, right? The outcome is what's more important right now, right? And I know for a lot of people, a lot of Trump's critics, they're just waiting for the opportunity to jump on him, especially when it comes to the stock market. But you have to give it time, right? He has a plan for what he's trying to do, and he understands that in the short term, there's going to be a little bit of pain, okay? But in the long run, this should be good for America overall. But you got to give him time, because it's not fair that countries are imposing tariffs on us, and we're not imposing the right amount of tariffs on them. And a lot of people say that tariffs are so bad, then why are they imposing this tariffs on us? And I get it. Like we don't want a trade war. A trade war is not something that's good for the world, right? But Trump understands that. Look, if we're gonna get a fair deal, we got to put our economic muscle, because we're the number one country in the world, and we have to start acting like it. Okay, we can't just let these other countries give us unfair deals when it comes to tariffs. So Trump implements his tariffs, and he says, hey, you don't like the tariffs, the amount of tariffs we're charging? Come to the table and negotiate. And if we already seen, we had they say, I think on the news, it was like 50 countries already that called Trump to renegotiate tariff deals. That's what he's looking to do. You don't like it, either make your stuff in America or lower your tariffs. And that's the thing, like, people need to understand. It's because I get it, right? We're the number one country in the world, right? We're the number one consumers. We buy everyone's stuff. So it makes sense why other countries are charging us tariffs, right? They make money off of that. But Trump is like, no more of that. Like, we're the number one country in the world. We got to start acting like it. And I get it too, because like if you ever gone to another country, right, one of these undeveloped countries, and we understand it's almost like an American tax. Like this, the goods that they're selling there, that they sell there, they charge a higher price than they would the locals. And we understand you're visiting their country. They understand that the Americans have money, so they're going to charge a higher price. And we get it. Like, they have the leverage. You're visiting the country. You need food. You need to buy stuff. So you're gonna have to pay that tax. And we do, because, why not? But however, when it comes to this situation, us being the consumers of the world, you're going to have to be more fair. Like, because we have the leverage. We're the ones that consume, the goods in the world. So you have to charge us a better deal. And Trump understands that. And not only that, but Trump has a plan, especially when it comes to this economic agenda. Okay, like his goal is to eventually get rid of taxes, right? Taxes on Social Security, taxes on tips, taxes on overtime, and eventually tax the federal income tax, which was implemented in 1913. And before that, the majority revenue generated for the government was tariffs. That's how government usually generated their revenue. So, but now they implemented that, and they started generating revenue through charging the American people. And Trump wants to get rid of that. Okay, he wants to make sure that, hey, instead of taxing the American people, we should charge other countries. Like I said, we're the number one consumer in the world. We're the number one country in the world. We need to act like it, and no more, and we're done with you taking advantage of us because of that. So now we got a new boss in charge, because those last 4 years with Biden, a weak leader. Trump is like, no, you're not going to take advantage of us anymore. And now we're going to start acting like the economic power that we are. And people have to give it time. They have to give it time. Like I said, there's going to be some economic pain in the short run, but long term, it should work out. And look at it. Think about it. And Trump is taking a big risk. He understands that. Because if it doesn't work out, then everyone's going to be holding him accountable. And he gets that. But one thing about Trump, he's always been a big risk taker. He understands what he's doing. He's always had good people around him that's advising him, hey, you put certain things in place. And he's a person that you understand, in order to win, you have to take risks. Right? And he's willing to go through the short-term pain in order to get the long-term gain. And this is what he's doing. And people have to just give it time. Like, I understand the media is just looking for anything they can to just make sure that just tell the American people that Trump has no idea what he's doing. And this is a great opportunity, because one thing people understand is the stock market. Green is good, red is bad. And right now we're seeing a whole lot of red, and people are fearful, of course. When you look at the stock market, you're looking at your 401k, you're looking at your investments, it can get scary, okay? And the sentiment tends to be like, okay, you know what? Trump stuff, whatever Trump's doing is just not working. And that's just not the case. It's that you just got to give it time, okay? And in the long run, give it, and in the long run, I'm confident that things are going to work out, because I have an idea of what he's trying to do. Okay, but you just got to give him some time. So that's pretty much it. So yeah, those are my thoughts. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Make sure to leave a comment down below, hit the like button, share, and if you haven't done so, make sure to subscribe. All right, guys, take care and have a good one. Later.